Hello, welcome back to Psalms Today on Cor Deo Online. We're working our way through the Psalms, just noticing a detail to help us read the Psalm today and a detail to help us apply the Psalm today, and then inviting us to read the Psalm, to spend time in this little bit of God's Word and allow it to make a difference in our lives. Psalm 5 that we come to today is an interesting psalm. I noticed a little comment in a book that I want to mention to you. This is by a good friend of ours, Dane Ortland. Dane has been interviewed on Cor Deo before. We'll put the link in the description below. He's a wonderful writer. In the Lord I take refuge, 150 daily devotions in the book of Psalms. And I just noticed this comment he made on Psalm 5. By the way, I'd encourage you to get the book. We are not reflecting everything that Dane says on these videos at all. We'll kind of note it now and then, but I'd encourage you to get this book. It's a wonderful companion. But he says on Psalm 5, this is the first instance of a psalm that includes prayers for the personal downfall of one's enemies. Now that feels a little bit awkward, and it's going to be something we see at various places within the book of Psalms, where the writer is praying to God to destroy the enemies, to bring judgment on them. And in our world today of, I think Dane calls it a world of tolerant niceness, it does feel a little bit awkward. But I want you to notice that the basis for that kind of a prayer is the reality of who God is. Okay, so we're going to drop in here in Psalm 5. Just notice how he describes God and then prays to God. Okay, so verse 4, for you are not a God who delights, let me see if I can get that right, who delights in wickedness. Evil may not dwell with you. The boastful shall not stand before your eyes. You hate all evildoers. You destroy those who speak lies. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful man. So he's kind of establishing truth about God, that God is a God of justice, that God is a God who cares about the world being right. And so when there is evil, when there is boastfulness, when people are telling lies, when people are bloodthirsty and deceitful, that matters to God, and it should matter to God. And so therefore, down in verse 10, the psalm writer says, make them bear their guilt, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Because of the abundance of their transgressions, cast them out, for they have rebelled against you. We don't want to live in a world where evil is allowed to just continue with no possibility of judgment or justice, nothing ever to be done about it because we just believe in nice. We don't want that. We want the world to be judged and shaped and ordered by God's character. And that's what this psalm is asking for. Based on who God is, God, would you act in these situations that I see? So for application, we can think in exactly those terms. Maybe our prayers are a little bit soft, a little bit nice, a little bit too comfortable. The reality is, when we see evil in the world, let's cry out to God and ask him to intervene and to destroy those who are destroying others. At the same time, I've only picked out 4 verses. There's a whole lot more in this psalm where the psalm writer himself is able to leave those things with God and say, but for me, this is where I'm at. And so I'd encourage you to read the whole of Psalm 5. Notice the theology, if you like, of God's justice leading to prayer for justice, but notice also everything else that goes on in the psalm, and then share your highlights with others in person, by text, by email, and in the comments below. And we will see you next time for Psalm 6. Thank you.